Everyone, welcome back to Rogers Reports. Today we're going to be previewing the Chelsea game. It comes thick and fast. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. If you didn't watch the special video I'd done on the channel on Christmas Day, please do be sure to go and check it out. I think if you're a Villa fan, you will really enjoy that one. But today we are going to be talking to Alexis from Kavkas Views, his Chelsea channel, link down in the description below. Again, I think you'll probably be seeing a theme with the people that I get on the channel for these match previews. They're well spoken, they're informative, and they are just in general really good people. So go down, check him out. We're going to be hopping into a conversation with him, all things Chelsea. If you are enjoying the Aston Villa content on the channel, the special videos like yesterday's one, the match reviews, previews, transfer videos, and everything in between, then please do be sure to go down below, leave a like on the video to share it around. You can hype videos now as well, apparently. I don't know. Go and do that. Give it some hype. And then subscribe if you are new and you haven't already. If you ping the notification bell, you will also be notified every time I upload on this channel. Last but not least, if you play FPL, go join my league, because I currently am 46th out of 51 and I'm having a stinker. So if you're on less points than me, which is like 800, please join it so I look better. Please. Thank you. Alex.
Yeah,
Perfect. So,
Alex is my full name.
Alex, thank you very, very much for coming on the channel to preview this Chelsea versus Aston Villa game at Stamford Bridge post-Christmas. And it's going to be a huge game because somehow we find ourselves third, you find yourself fourth, and we could be two teams challenging for the Champions League.
Yeah, it's a playoff. It's a playoff. It's a 6-pointer, as they'd like to call it on Sky.
It is. You know what? It does feel like a 6-pointer already, because I look around and I look at the teams below us. A couple of teams, United were kind of near, but Chelsea are the ones. You look at your squad, you look at your manager, you look at how you've been doing. I think you're really one of the ones that's going to be pushing us to the very end. How are you feeling as a Chelsea fan coming into this game against Villa?
So Chelsea have had a up and down season in terms of, from an injury standpoint, we lost our best centre half. Our second best centre half, depending on who you ask, in Fofana, is very much, he'll play one game, he has to be rested the next game. And only now he's slowly starting to be integrated. Our best player in Palmer's played 5 games this year, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. We haven't had a striker because Delap's injured. So we're playing Joao Pedro rather than in the 10 and the 9. And I think to epitomize the problem, we've scored 29 goals this year. 5 of them have come from our number 9s combined. Delap, Joao Pedro, and Guiu. So the goals have been ridiculously spread out between Enzo, Caicedo, centre-backs.
Yeah.
We're a team that's, we're developing with a young manager, and we're going through the peaks and troughs.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the short version of the answer. I can go into detail if you want. But I don't think Villa fans would appreciate that.
I would hope mine would. But it's interesting you mentioned a couple of players there. Obviously, you're struggling with your number 9s getting goals. That's an issue that it almost sounded like you were talking about Villa for a second, because Ollie Watkins has got 3 goals this season, 3 goals in his last. It's something ridiculous, like 35 games now, and we're just relying on the brilliance of a certain Morgan Rogers to get us our goals. Obviously, the little link there with Cole Palmer, same Selly and all that kind of stuff. Who done it first? That one's up for debate. But in terms of your team, I had a look through the stats. Like you say, your top scorers, I think Joao Pedro's got 5, but then it's Pedro Neto.
Neto's got 6 in the league this year, which, surprise, surprise, is the highest he's ever scored in his whole career. And we're only 17 games in, which is an interesting stat for a £65 million player.
Yeah. But I think he's also got the most assists for you this season as well.
He's having a sneakily good season. Sneaky good. But if you watch the games, and I think this is where the issue is, outsiders will think Neto's having a great season. But if you just watch the second half against Newcastle, he really struggles in decision-making. He never releases it on time. He should be on 10-12.
Yeah.
Based on how many opportunities he gets in the final third.
And you mentioned one player, and I have to go back to him, Cole Palmer. I was at Villa Park when you beat us 3-1 in, I think it was the FA Cup. a couple of seasons ago. It might have even been last season or the season before. And I said it to my missus. I was there with missus at the time. I turned around to her and I said, "That's the best player I've ever seen live." When I watch Cole Palmer, how important has it been for him coming back? I know it hasn't been all sunshine and roses since he's come back. Obviously, it was a long layoff.
Hasn't.
How important is it to have him back?
So I pride myself on trying to be as transparent as possible and take my bias hat off. Cole hasn't been Cole for the last 12 months. So since last January, Cole went through a barren spell. And that barren spell really impacted his confidence. And what was so interesting was everything that he was doing in the past and when it was going in and when he was expressing himself started becoming a burden because he overdid it. Everything was an aggressive shot rather than a delicate chip the way he used to do it. The passes were more forced. And the Club World Cup masked a lot of that because his performances were brilliant for a short period. And then the season's been broken up. So we're still waiting for him to get fit. And that's almost the common excuse right now. Oh, he's not fit. So that's why he's not putting up the number. You know, the way fans are. The problem is he's still carrying that groin injury. And we had it with Enzo Fernandez. Enzo had to get surgery and he was out for 3 months. Now he's fine.
Yeah.
So it's a matter now of giving him time and managing him through. If it was up to me, he doesn't go to the World Cup, gets the surgery, and he's back in September. But I highly doubt that's going to happen. I think he's going to play at the World Cup injured. But he's what you said about the best player you've ever seen live. I've seen Eden Hazard, and that's my personal favorite player of all time. But
That's
Cole's
fair.
he's close to being second. So as a Chelsea player, I adored it. Like
you mentioned a couple of injuries, and touch on those in terms of what your starting lineup will be against Villa, because there are a few players I think in your starting lineup that will really cause us problems. But I think a big miss for you is obviously going to be Colwill at the back. Palmer coming back from that injury as well, not being fully fit. Obviously, Delap, you don't have a real number 9. How do you think you'll line up against Villa?
So, full disclaimer: our manager loves the little tactical switch, and have everyone an hour or 15 minutes before going, "What on earth is he doing?" I think there was a game a few years back. I think we beat you 3-0 at Stamford Bridge. You played Caicedo right back with Lavia and Enzo in the pivot. And then what ended up happening was Caicedo was coming into the midfield to make a box with Lavia, Caicedo, Enzo, and Palmer. So what I think is going to happen, and I think he will revert, but in this case, it will be Sanchez in goal, James, Fofana, Chalobah. Fun stat for you guys: they've kept 5 clean sheet in their last 7 games that they've played together. And so and they've only played 7 games together in the league to get this season. So it's a solid defense. Cucurella never misses a game. I really want to see what happens when he turns 30 and these minutes catch up with him. The midfield pivot is where there's going to be some interest because I'm scared to go Enzo Caicedo because of how robust your midfield is. However, I think he will go with that. Palmer will be in the 10. On the right will be Neto. On the left will be Garnacho. And up top is going to be Joao Pedro. If it was up to me, I would go left wing Neto, Palmer to the right, and I'd play Andre Santos in the middle and let Enzo be the 10. Purely based on the fact I respect your midfield. I think Kamara's class. Onana's super underrated based on doing the dirty work, especially off the ball, and just giving it to the better players in front of him. I really like Yuri Tielemans. A lot of that has been built up through FM days when he was a wonder kid.
Signing him from 18.
And you guys almost have, if I'm not mistaken, like an inverted winger in McGinn, right? He starts on the right, but he always comes in.
Yeah. So, I mean, Tielemans, you mentioned it, obviously. I've got the concert shirt behind me. I've got a Yuri Tielemans one just off to the side of me there. The midfield battle in this game, actually, I'm glad you brought it up because it's one that I wanted to go over with you. It's going to be really, really important. We do flood central areas. It's how we play. We do play with that box. And I think he probably will go the same lineup against Manchester United. So we'll have Kamara and Onana being our pivot, our sort of holding midfielders. And then, like you say, our wingers, they're not wingers in the slightest, will be Rogers and McGinn, who will come in and form that box. One thing that worries me going into the Chelsea game, and I'm sure you'll be able to shed some light on this, is the effectiveness that Maresca seems to have in playing inverted fullbacks. Cucurella, I've seen do it a lot this season. Reece James obviously has, I think he started the Newcastle game as the holding midfielder, and he was bloody brilliant, like really, really good, I thought. And you do flood central areas as well. It's quite an interesting tactical matchup. I think Emery and Maresca, they have differing philosophies, but they both like to flood that midfield area. You know, Maresca with the inverted fullbacks, our wingers sit in a box. And I look player for player, and like you say, our midfield's great. Onana, I think it's good that you shouted out Onana. A lot of our fans was torn on him. I think it's probably because of the £50 million price tag. When you have Tielemans and Kamara, who combined cost us £0, there's going to be some pressure on Onana in there. But I think, like you say, the dirty work, and he gives us an aerial presence.
Agreed.
But I look at that box that you can create, and I'm seeing Caicedo, and I know a lot was made out of him in his price tag as well. But and Fernandez, but they're both fantastic. And then you bring in Cucurella, who I think has been really, really good, effective and good this season. Like you say, ride that wave of him being able to play 90 minutes twice a week if you can, because he's been brilliant. And then there's Reece James, Cole Palmer dropping in. What do you think will happen in that midfield? But I think that's going to be where this game is won and lost, in that midfield, in the two boxes, just battling it out.
So Villa at Stamford Bridge, for me, it's like historically, especially under these coaches and even under Poch back in the day, you give us the ball and we need to open you up, or you hit us on the break. Yeah. For me, it's important we get the first goal, because I think if we get the first goal, and we'll force you to open up, and that box midfield would have to, and then I feel like when you guys open up, the high line comes up, we can exploit it.
Yeah.
So for me, it's going to be so interesting. If you get the first goal, then it will become a really interesting game. If we're like the neutrals, for me, it'll be nerve-wracking. I can't lie to you, but it'll be a robust battle. And what will tend to happen is Cuckoo will come in. We'll go into a back three on the ball, where the middle one will usually be either Trevor or Wes.
Mm-hmm.
And then James and Cuckoo will rotate between who goes into the middle.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Enzo Fernandez will push up, and people don't notice the dirty work he does. He runs the most distance, he does the most tackling, but the narrative is he's overweight and he can't run, which is a myth.
Yeah.
Because like the guy's ripped as hell and he's good on the ball. He costs 100 million. So the expectation is he's prime Paul Pogba, which he'll never be. I do think Palmer's going to cause a lot of issues dropping deep, and teams get so lost because what ends up happening is Palmer drops deep. And now that we've got the two speedsters, they're always running. The one thing I will tell Villa fans, when Garnacho has the ball, it's a turnover, right? So you're getting the ball back any second. So don't worry about that.
You know what? I don't know if it's the Manchester United cuts. I know we've just beaten them, but our form against Manchester United has been so bad for so many years. I remember a couple of seasons ago, maybe even last season, Garnacho, we'll have nightmares. Garnacho rinsed us. He actually destroyed us in one game. You mentioned, and again, you're literally just hitting all the points that I wanted to. So thank you very much. You're making my job very easy. But you mentioned Villa sitting off, giving you the ball and sitting off. And we do that against bigger, quote unquote, bigger teams. We do it. I mean, I say bigger teams because we've done it against Manchester United, but I think we probably should have been a bit more expansive. But it's Emery's go-to tactic. We'll even do it against the likes of Spurs for some reason, where we like to give teams the ball when they're teams that we know can dominate possession. And we'll just get back into our 4-4-2 and we'll sit there and we'll spring traps and we'll wait. And we've come unstuck a few times this season doing that. We literally came unstuck against West Ham trying to play it out the back and try and trigger a press and a mistake, and then sitting back and allowing that second goal from Bowen. How have Chelsea done against those sort of mid-block teams that just sit in this season?
So we struggle against teams that don't want to play football. So teams that essentially will park the bus and we have to unlock them, we really struggle. Main reason is Pedro Neto and Garnacho struggle in tight areas, and a lot of us wanted Esteval playing more.
Yeah.
However, Maresca's very cautious in throwing him in, purely based on the fact that he's a young kid and he doesn't want him to be overworked. And like, oh, the kids played more minutes than Neymar did come this age.
Really?
And Neymar was playing in Brazil for a lot. So it really tells like the number of minutes he's got in the tank already. They're trying to look after him long term. But we lack creativity outside of Enzo and Palmer, especially because Garnacho's natural instinct is to get to the byline and cross it.
Yeah.
Doesn't look where he's crossing it, he just tries to put it in an area.
Yeah.
Neto, he cuts in on his left and does the in-swinging far post cross. You know, where if everyone misses it, it goes in or it's causing the keeper a problem. Other than that, they're very one-dimensional. And when there's no space to utilize their pace in behind, we revert to pass back, sideways, back, and then it ends up being a pot shot or a turnover and we get hit on the break. So you'll get great, if you do it properly, you'll great success with Morgan Rogers carrying it through our midfield. Watkins, if he's having one of his days, he's going to be running off. But
Yeah.
historically, Fofana does well against Watkins. I think Fofana's best performance in the Chelsea kit was against Watkins a few years back. He got injured on that day as well and was out for a while. But it's going to be an interesting game. What I hope is you don't play any pace. So you go for that Yuri Tielemans, you go for that McGinn,
Yeah.
and we'll almost have to deal with Onana and Rogers carrying the ball in
Yeah.
opposed to, I think you have a new winger, right, that you signed in the summer. He's pretty pacey, if I'm not mistaken.
So we signed Guasson in the summer. Big,
Is he
power, a little bit. He's a big, powerful dribbler like Rogers, but his performances this season, one, you don't need to worry about him because he's gone to AFCON now. So
Oh, okay, sorry.
he is gone. But even if he was here, you wouldn't need to worry about him. Let's just put it that way. It hasn't particularly worked out so far.
No, fair enough. But what I'm scared of is your pace. So if you have any pace, you'll have great success on the break because we commit men forward. And then it becomes a foot race between Fofana and Chalobah with your forwards. So that is how you get success, in my opinion.
You know what? That breaks my heart, to be honest with you, because our only pace that we have at the moment is Daniel Marlon, who's currently having to sit on the bench behind an Ollie Watkins that plays like he is about 16 steps behind the ball, which is, we have started Marlon a few times, but Emery just, Watkins is Emery's one of Emery's favourites. He likes him because he works hard for the team. He knows the press. He knows what channels to run into, whereas Marlon is that raw speedster that will just, as soon as a Tielemans or a Kamara gets the ball, he's just turned, boom, gone, running in behind. The only other pace we have in our team, go on.
Marlon used to play on the wing for Dortmund. Why hasn't Emery utilised him there?
I think he doesn't like his defensive contributions, and
okay,
I think it's a mixture of that and the fact of, at the moment, Emery is very, very, I mean, to be fair, I get it, because at the start of this season, when we went on our awful run of not scoring and stuff like that, we tried to play a bit more of a traditional 4-2-3-1 with the wingers staying a bit wider and the number 10, and it clearly didn't work. We weren't creating anything, and we've gone back to this 4-4-2 box. Sky Sports will have it on the lineup as a 4-2-3-1. Furthest thing from it's a 4-4-2. And in possession, if we can dominate possession, sometimes Kamara will go right back because it's actually Matty Cash offering us our width, and Kamara will drop in and cover. But it's a 4-4-2, and Marlon just doesn't work. He has tried him on the right a couple of times, but it just doesn't work because he can't play that inverted winger attacking midfielder role, so he's up front. And our only other pace is a player that, again, you'll know quite well, is Ian Maatsen. Not that he played too many games. Not that he played too many games for Chelsea, but he has been given the license to start recently. He's overtaken Luca Digne, I think, as our number one. And in the last few games, I've noticed, one, he's been one of our best players, and two, he's starting to get a bit more of a license to be the Matty Cash that just bombs forward down the wing. And he is deceivingly rapid.
Oh, he is super right. So I've known of him since like he was young, purely based on the fact that I used to under 21 games are cheap.
Yeah,
So as a Chelsea fan who's not a season ticket holder, to go like whenever there's cup games at the bridge, it's £10. Why not? You know, you're seeing the
yeah,
generations like the generation tomorrow. And I've always kept tabs on him because I really like the way he plays football. He's aggressive in a tackle. He's not the best defensively, but he's neat and tidy on the ball,
yeah.
good delivery. He can. Pochettino played him number 10 in a couple of games when he was
Really?
like, yeah, which was like really interesting.
Yeah,
It's because he's technically so gifted. He's like a
yes.
stereotypical Dutch player, right? Really neat and tidy in tight areas. And I think if you give him the time, he'll develop into a top, like to the point where I think one day Barcelona could come in for him
Really.
because I see what they have in Balde. There is no reason he can't do it. He did it for Dortmund.
Mm.
We as a Chelsea community, and I don't think I knew many fans that weren't begging for him to be ahead of Ben Chilwell in that
Wow.
Pochettino year. And when he was sold, we were furious because we got Omari Kellerman in return, and it was clearly a PSR move.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we knew we let a very good, talented. You wouldn't have paid that money for him if he was rubbish. Let's put it this way.
No,
Like
no.
he's very techie, and he's a good player, and he can cause problems.
Yeah, I think he's another one that unfortunately suffered from the price tag as well because we did pay so
Really,
much money for him. I think our fans expected a lot more, and it didn't work for him straight away. And then Luca Digne got the starting spot for another season. But I'm like you. I really think he's quite special, and I think he'll be our left back for some years to come. Fingers crossed. Um, one thing I wanted to touch on before we go into the dreaded predictions, where one of us is going to come unstuck come the end of the game, is, and I've just got it noted down here. It is, and it really interested me actually when I was looking through the Premier League table, and I looked through the last 5 games. Obviously, Villa are right at the top with Man City. Chelsea last 5 games in the Premier League, mid-table. I think
yeah,
it's 3 draws, 1 win, and 1 loss. And then what
correct.
really I was like blown away by is I looked at your away form and it's really good. Top 3, top 2. Your home form is 12th in the league. What's
Yes.
going on at Stamford Bridge? It's like
Um, so we've got a slight problem at Stamford Bridge, which is I think surfacing now. Last year we were really good at home. We were winning a lot of the game. I think we were top three. This year, our fans aren't Maresca's biggest fans. They don't like the way we play football.
Mhm,
Even though I think he's a great manager. I think he's the best manager that we've had since Tuchel.
mm,
And purely based on the fact that he's a tactical genius, he allows we have the ball. And I might be a snobbish fan for saying that, but I grew up in an era where we've had Conte, we had Jose in the bad times, not in the good times. And it gets to a point where you want your team to have the ball and dictate its own future rather than wait and
yeah,
then you waiting for other teams to have a bad game and hit them on the break. I don't like that. Our
mm,
fans don't like the whole keep the ball for the sake of keeping the ball. So
yeah,
what ends up happening is they start groaning, they start moaning. Every mistake gets amplified. The anxiety spreads to the players and they make the mistakes. This
wow,
year, we've lost to Sunderland at home
yeah,
in the most diabolical game you're ever going to see, where the fans got on the players' backs and the players crumbled.
wow,
We lost against Brighton, where we destroyed them for 40 minutes. Second half starts, we give the ball away. Our centre back pulls him back, red card. Brighton go on and beat us 3-1. A
yeah,
game that you should have killed off. Oh, and the other thing, we don't finish our chances. So even if we go one up, you're in the game.
fair,
Because, oh, one more thing about Chelsea in general, and please keep an eye on this because it will happen. We'll have a 15-minute spell where we're going to be unbelievable, where we're going to
okay,
pepper you. Then it'll go 30 minutes of nothing. And then we're going to literally give you a 15-minute spell where you're going to absolutely blitz us. It happens every game. We only string together 15 minutes of good football, and then it's a 50-50 game, and then we have like a down period. I don't know why we can't like stitch in a solid performance.
Yeah.
And
Is that possibly the
I don't know
youth?
whether it's, you know, I don't like that excuse because our
No.
bad players are our experienced players.
Yeah, fair enough.
Do you know, like the Tussen's our bad player. Um,
Yeah,
so I like our youth players. Like, for example, Caicedo is one of our younger players. Enzo
yeah,
is one of our younger players. Cucurella is 25. James
yeah,
is 25. Sanchez, surprisingly, has become a decent goalkeeper.
yeah,
Um, um, Neto's experience. We don't, a lot of this experience talk is media overblown. That, you know,
mm,
like, it's like the whole we spent a 1.7 billion. 700 of it is on kids that are on loan or in the academy that they're going to flip one day. They don't play for Amari Kellerman is 20 million of it. Let that be known. Like,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
promise you, Amari Kellerman could walk past me on the street. I wouldn't know it's Amari Kellerman. Like, because we
It's
haven't seen him
play,
at
isn't it?
all.
No, and it was
We
the same.
haven't.
What was the other player you done with us?
Pani Chukwemeka,
That's the one. Yeah, he's gone now,
but
isn't he?
he's a
Permanently.
very good player.
He
Um,
was. He was one of Villa's best prospects.
And there was a year. So when we first signed him, he had a year basically where he was coming on under Potter. And then the new season started, and Pochettino had him in the 10, Enzo, Enzo in the 8, and Caicedo in the 6. And on his, I think it was the first game of the season or the second game, he scored a brilliant goal against West Ham, and his career started. And then he got his knee injury in the same game. And we didn't see him for 8 months, and he hasn't recovered since. But that
Wow.
preseason, he was going to be the one that basically the whole I don't think we sign Palmer if he doesn't get injured.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, because when he got injured, then they went back into the market and got Palmer. So
Wow.
there was no guarantee that we basically it was going to be either Ryan Shirky or Palmer.
What a couple of
And
players,
they
by
would
the way.
decide, yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Like now
Yeah.
looking back at it, Shirky's not a bad player either. But the whole fan base was saying, just give Carney the chance, give Carney the chance. And then he
Mm.
got the knee injury, and then Palmer happened, and the rest is history. But I feel
Oh,
sorry
fair
for the
enough.
kid.
Yeah, I know. I saw some awful stories about how he pretty much had to change his walking gait and everything because of that injury. It was really quite bad. Just touching on Maresca, actually, before we get into those dreaded predictions, I'm trying to put it off for as long as possible in case I
It's
say
fine. We've
something and
got
we
time.
lose. But with Maresca, obviously, I know that the fan base has been a bit sullied on him, a bit divided on him, and there was a lot recently about linking him with the City job because there's the big Pep Guardiola might leave. Am I right in thinking he has come out and said he's staying at Chelsea?
Yes and no.
Right.
Yes and
Okay.
no. Purely based on the fact that there's a lot of conspiracy theories going on around Chelsea right now with what's happening behind closed doors.
Mm,
A lot of it is to do with the fact that we haven't our ownership is really split. So there's four entities that own Chelsea. Three of them have like 12%, and then an investment firm owns like 60% of it.
mm.
So it's like 33, 13, 13, 13, and then the rest is
The
60,
big
right?
one. Yeah.
The big one, the head of the investment firm is overly involved. He wants to know every little detail like it's a corporate job.
Hmm.
Very micromanaging. And what has happened recently is he's been pictured with the Zerbi a lot. He's been going to our sister club after the game's done with Marseille. He's hugging the Zerbi. He and the photos and the narratives already forming at the end of the year when Maresca has his review is the Zerbi being lined up to
Right.
take over. So around about October, and I'm sorry I'm giving you all the context, but
Oh no, this is good for me to understand.
uh, in October, Maresca hired George Mendes as his agent.
Never a good sign.
Never a good sign, right? Um, so there's two theories. Maresca wants a pay rise on his 4-year deal now, or Maresca's planning his exit. And at the start of December, we saw links to Juventus at the end of the summer. And now we're seeing links to Manchester City. And for no reason at all, after We beat Everton. Maresca, he was asked, and this is the brilliant question. Gusto played in the midfield and was unbelievable. What are your thoughts? Somehow he managed to say that it was the worst 48 hours he's had as the Chelsea manager, and he hasn't been shown support. And they asked him, where's the support coming from? The fans? He's like, no, I love the fans. I love my players. And
It's,
you see where he's taking shots.
yeah.
So we had like a whole meltdown. And then Ornstein dropped his bomber with Manchester City, and he came out and said, I have a contract till 2029, and I'm going to be here as long as they want me. And then they said, do you promise you're going to be the manager next year? He said, I can't No, he said, I have a contract till 2029. I don't know what promises I can give.
I
They
like
said,
it.
would you
Very
sign a new
political.
deal? And he said, would they offer me a new deal? And he
Okay.
said, otherwise, I appreciate the job that I have. So you're seeing the tension up front.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that out in the
It,
open.
it it's very in the open. And the problem is the other owner, Todd Bowley, who everyone thinks is the main owner,
Yeah.
he's been pushed to the side after he's wanted to have more influence. So there's a lot of drama now between one entity's trying to buy the other entity out, the other entity's raising the money to buy the other, and it's becoming a whole public fiasco.
Yeah, and it's I've seen it happen. Well, we've all seen it happen at other clubs when it starts spilling into press conferences. The manager, the performances on the pitch.
Yep.
It's never ideal.
It's huge. Like, and the worst thing is this: the manager's the least of our problems right now.
Mm.
I need a striker. I need a left winger.
Yeah.
I need a. Do you know what I mean? I need a step out integrated into the team. But yet, what we're seeing on a consistent basis is Maresca's not utilizing his tools. Maresca's not good enough. And I tell fans, be careful what you wish for, because when we had Thomas Tuchel, the same nonsense was said. Then we ended
Mm.
up with Potter and Poch. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting. However, we are consistently linked with your guy in Morgan Rogers, and I don't
Yeah, I
think we
did.
should pay the 90 million.
Yeah, I saw that when I tweeted it out. Someone said to ask you about your Rogers agenda. I'd be remiss if I didn't.
Um, there is no agenda. I think he's a very talented player. I like to call it how I see it. I feel like the market's inflated to the point now where stupid fees are assigned to players that don't deserve the fee. So when we went in for Rogers in the summer, that's what was reported. We don't know if
Yeah.
it's true. We were quoted 90 million. And I said, Villa have every right to say 90 million because he's their best player.
Mm.
If someone comes in for Cole Palmer, I'm saying 200 million. However, it doesn't mean because Villa asked for 90 million, you have to pay the 90. Because I don't think he's a 90 million pound footballer in the sense that I don't think he's going to come to Chelsea, revolutionize us to the point where we're like, oh, you know what? We're title contenders now. In my opinion, Rogers is a good player, but I've seen so many Pedro Netos. I even used the example of a Ross Barkley. Unbelievable at Everton, came to Chelsea, hated, went to Luton, unbelievable. And it's because we don't watch him on a weekly basis. We don't see him against low blocks. And we also don't see them with, and I hate to say this, but big six critical
Yeah.
analysis. You know, where it's every loose touch, like Florian Wirtz has now, is analyzed.
Yeah.
Every shot, oh, and then it starts impacting their day to day life. Like Rogers had, I think, 9 game spell, no goal and assist this year, right? In the start of the
He
season. Or
he was
it,
like truly one of our worst players the first sort of 5, 6 games of the season. Yeah.
And that's when they said I had an agenda because I said, if this happened at Chelsea and we paid 90 million, I promise you now, it would have been on every back page,
Yeah.
every talk show, talk sports show, every YouTube channel calling them a flop. And
Mm.
these, I'm going to call him kids because he's what, 23. They
Yeah,
see
yeah, he's
everything.
young.
They see everything we do.
Mm.
Like they watch content, like maybe not mine, but I promise you they watch big stuff and they're on TikTok and they see everything. So I just wouldn't pay 90 million for it. Is he a good
Fair enough.
player?
Sure.
Great
Yeah.
player. Ollie Watkins, I don't think he's ever been a good player. But do you know what? That is controversial.
If I'm sure if you went back and watched a few videos on my channel, you'll see I'm not too far away from you on that, because I think even when he was scoring 20 goals a season, he might be one of the worst finishers I've ever seen of a football.
He
To
should
be
be scoring
honest,
60 based on how many
yeah,
chances. Oh, he's
it's
I
frustrating.
one of my favorite non-Chelsea games every year is Arsenal versus Villa.
Oh, it's a corker.
I love it. Watkins makes me want to rip my hair out every single time. Even the one that he scored at the Emirates, he didn't mean it, and that's what irritates me.
My friend was watching the Villa Arsenal game when we just beat them, and when we took Watkins off, he messaged me and he was like, "I genuinely didn't even realize he'd started that game." He was like, "I forgot he was there."
Bad. He's
Um,
so he's like a poor man's Jamie Vardy.
yeah,
He really
I've been
is.
calling for us to sign a number 9 for many years, and I bloody hope we try and get one in January.
John Duran screwed you over, didn't he? Because that
I
was the
tell you, I've
solution.
got in my wardrobe in the bedroom next to me, I've got our third kit from last season with the Champions League printing and John Duran on the back, and I got it about 3 weeks before he bloody left. Because I went to watch us play Wolves at Villa Park, and he came on and scored after about 2 minutes, and I was like, "That's it. I'm impulse getting J Duran 9 printed on the back."
He's
That was a mistake.
he was an unreal striker. Like
He
he
was a
wasn't even
proper
a great
9.
footballer. He was a nine.
No, no, he wasn't like on the ball. Passing ability wasn't great. His dribbling wasn't great. But then he gets the ball, and as soon as his left foot went through it, and that's what we're lacking. And it sounds like it's what you're lacking as well. That striker's instinct, number
I think
9.
he would have been the solution for us because we were really close to getting him. But then the fan base kicked up a huge fuss. And I
Really?
believe, yeah, I think it was a January. So randomly, so it was the January before he blew up. So it was we were linked with him, and the we were bad at the time as well. We had Pochettino. So, and you know, when you're bad, any transfer that's not well known is greeted poorly. Hashtag started, the clubs, every post, there would have been a picture of Reece James, no to Duran, no to Duran. So they didn't want him. And then they delayed it, and then he blew up. And then
Mm.
they spent the whole summer saying, bring Duran, but he got too expensive at that point.
Yeah, now he's at Fenerbahce and he's suspended. He was meant to be playing us in February, but he's suspended because he elbowed someone or headbutted someone. Typical John Duran things, obviously.
Yeah.
But actually, you know what? I thought I'd ask you about that Rogers thing from the Twitter reply, but I think you actually make a really good point. I tweeted out when I was watching the United game. I turned on the Sky Sports coverage of it, and even though Villa are the team that came into it third, it was at Villa Park. All of that stuff. I think it was 50 minutes of coverage was about Manchester United.
Yeah.
And then they squeezed in 10 minutes of Aston Villa stuff, kickoff. And you're right. When players get those big moves, the scrutiny is, and I think you make a really good point. I think if Rodgers was playing for a big club with a big price tag and he had the run that he did at the start of the season, it could have got ugly, to be fair.
Well, Semenyo just went, I think it's 8 games for Bournemouth without scoring or assisting. We didn't hear a word of it. He went 2 games in a row of scoring. Everyone's saying we have to get him 65 million. And it's
City
like
and
that
United and yeah.
it won't be tolerated at a bigger club because everything's microanalyzed. And if you drop 2 points, it's the biggest like problem in the world. Like, for example, I saw today they put Rogers into best number 10 in the world conversations.
I love it.
And for me,
I love
that's
it.
like you're setting him up to fail. Like you're actively like they're actively building him up now for him to get that move, for them to dunk. It's what they did with Bellingham. It's what they did with Palmer. It's what they did with Foden. Like Foden's spoken about like he's the greatest England player we've ever had. Like, like, oh, he's brilliant. But in reality, Foden's a good player. We just have to be a bit measured in the way we talk about it.
Oh yeah, the English media love to pick their golden boy of the month, build them up, and then they're the first ones to tear them down. It's been. I listened to the overlap with like Gary Neville, and they've been doing it since they were playing football. Like they mention it, obviously
agreed.
with Beck happened with Bex, didn't it, and all those kinds of players, and it's just it's really frustrating. I'm glad that Rodgers seems to be at a club that protected him a bit now, and Emery loves the geezer. I mean, why wouldn't he?
He should.
But yeah, exactly.
He should.
And I hope that he can just stay at us for a bit longer and we can enjoy him for a bit longer.
What would be, so we're fans, right? And we don't care, right? give me 200 million for Palmer, I'll still say keep him. But what would be the number that you think your board would accept for Rogers and say, you know what, this is a fee too high. Like, we have to let him go?
It's a really interesting one with Villa at the moment. I've been crucified a little bit by our fans, but I think a lot of people don't quite know the ins and outs of it. We're obviously struggling with FFP still massively. And a lot of our fans will come back to me and say, it's not FFP anymore, it's SCR, which is our wage to turnover ratio, which was really bad. We've done a lot to get it down this summer. We let go of some massive players. Coutinho was still on 150 grand a week with us. We let him go this summer. That's huge for us to get him off the wage bill. Why I keep on mentioning FFP is because we're in a 3-year agreement with UEFA, thanks to some losses from our last reporting period. It's all fun and games and numbers, but we're in a 3-year agreement. This year, or this reporting season, we're allowed to lose 5 million. Now, bearing in mind, teams regularly lose a lot more than that.
Agreed.
Because football's just that type of game. Next season, we have to break even. And the season after that, so this is going all the way to 2028, that will be the 7-8 season, we have to make a profit. So I wonder whether if it was a 90 million bid, even though all of our fans would want to keep him because of how important he is for us, he's a local lad. He's from Halesowen, just down the road, Villa family as well. There are some West Brom in there, but we'll ignore that. But I do wonder, with the agreement that we're with under UEFA and probably our board looking at Emery and thinking, if he's taken Rogers for 8 million from Middlesbrough, who had 1 goal in 16 league games, and turned him into this, should we pocket the 90 million and try and reinvest it somewhere else? So I think if you had to ask what I think the board would accept, I think probably 90 million would do it, because we're in that kind of position. Even though I would say 150 personally, because he's that important to us and how we play, and he's just fully
and it's hard
ingrained.
To replace. It's hard to replace.
He has a very unique profile of that big, powerful 6'2", 6'3" dribbler who also has quick feet. It's rare in world football to find someone like that. And
we had Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who was like that, 6'5", twinkle toe ballerina feet, where you're like, how did he do that? He shouldn't be able to. And he had injuries that ruined him, when in reality, like, I think he would have been like a Rogers, where he would have contributed goals and assists.
Is he still at AC Milan?
So, yeah, he's still playing, but as a bit part player, so like he's always injured. It's so interesting you said you have the UEFA, because a lot of Villa fans attacked me in the summer after I made a few comments about your FFP scenario. Well, because Chelsea have the same UEFA issues, and given the work I do in my private life, I'm involved in numbers, so I find that nerdy stuff really interesting. So I looked into
the deal isn't great.
It's not, and it's purely based on the fact that you gave a lot of stupid contracts to players that weren't worth the contracts.
Yeah, I brought it up in the Hammers chat preview I'd done with the West Ham game, because this one is the one that really is like knife in the heart and twist it in. We had Leander Dendoncker on, I think it was close to 90 grand a week.
Yeah.
Dendoncker.
And that does it. That does it.
You know what I mean?
And that's the one thing Blueco have done, and no one is talking about it. They're not giving big contracts out. Everything's incentive based. So, for example, Romeo Lavia, £55 million signing, 45k.
Good.
Plus. And it's like, you're giving contracts that are manageable. And it's why we never signed Victor Osimhen. Osimhen's camp wanted 300k.
He was asking for a lot. I remember that transfer saga.
Net, not even gross, net. So it was gonna be Haaland type money, and Blueco just said we can't do it, because it sets a precedent, and it blows. It basically, when Cole Palmer comes for renegotiation, he's gonna want to be up there, and all of a sudden your revenue just blows out of proportion. And we've got the same metrics stuck on us now. This summer was the first one. We've got another year now, so this year we have to break even. Hence why we didn't sign Xavi Simons.
You might have dodged a bullet with that one.
I think he would have been right for us.
You know what? We were linked with him either this summer or last summer. as well. It
He
might
would
have
have
been
been
last.
good under Emery, you know.
Would have been really good. I really liked him. Really
He
liked
would
him.
have been so because he's nippy. He presses well, even though this weekend he done like an idiot thing where he went like, and it happens.
It
But
happens, yeah.
he's a very talented footballer, especially in the pockets and in transition. I could
Yeah.
only imagine having Rogers on the left, him on the right coming into the midfield,
Yeah.
and then a Watkins or a Marlin through the middle, a robust midfield. You would have been a really like exciting team. I
He
really
would have
hope
added a
after
bit of
like,
pace.
yeah, uh, honestly, I really hope you get top five this year. Like, purely based on the fact because I always say there's no difference between fourth, third, or second. Purely
Yeah.
based on the
It's
fact you get
Champions
Champions
League.
League.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all that matters if you don't win the league. Make sure you're in the Champions League the next year. And I think fifth will be a Champions League spot this year as well, based on the
Yeah.
way
I think
coefficients going.
yeah, I think Arsenal will probably do quite well. I think you got Palace in the Conference League as well. I know they had a bit of a stinky group phase, but the players that they have and Glasner in charge,
I think you will do well in the Euro. I
I,
think you win the Europa League
I bloody hope
because
so.
you've got the specialist, right?
Yeah, 4-time
And I
winner.
also think, oh, this is a good question. Then we'll get into the prediction. Sorry for extending it. I know we said
That's all
20
right.
minutes,
No,
but
mate, it's fine.
um, as a Villa fan, what would you prefer? Sixth with a Europa League or third? Because
Sixth of the
either way,
Europa
you get
League.
because you get
It's
Champions League, right?
it's yeah, really, really easy answer for me because I think the one thing that some fans, and it's a very small pocket of fans, hold over Emery is it's that recency bias. In recent years, you're a successful manager if you win something, if you bring a
Yes.
trophy to a club. And Emery's been there for 3 years now. It'll be 3.5 in the summer. And not only that, one thing I don't want to happen is the media to get on his back because if we finish top four again, you know what the storyline will be on Monday Night Football, whatever it is on Sky Sports, BT Sports will be. They're doing really well, but how long's Emery been there and he hasn't won a trophy yet? And then that gets into
He's a
more
cup
impressionable fans' heads.
specialist. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that could be the only way I could see something going sour with Unai Emery because he's writing himself into godlike status at Aston Villa with what he's done and how he's made the team overperform. That's the one thing he's missing is that cup. So easily, without a shadow of a doubt, sixth in the Europa League to bring a trophy to Villa. Our first one in God knows how many years. That all day, every day.
No, that's good to hear because I think we as a fan, like a fan community, we've lost the love for winning cups.
Yeah,
Like, people like, oh, we need to finish close to the first. Who cares? That Conference League, I enjoyed that night amazingly. Like, I was with
yeah,
my mates. We had a great night. We won the game, had a little bit of drama. The Club World Cup, I'm never going to forget that Club World Cup run. It was the first time the tournament was on, beating PSG in that fashion. And it's memories that you're getting as a fan. I don't remember every year we finished fourth.
no,
Like, yeah, I think we need to respect and maintain that kind of like, and to, like, I think Leicester fans or Wigan fans would never
yeah.
sacrifice their FA Cup wins.
No, and I was so jealous of Crystal Palace last season because I genuinely thought it was our year to get that FA Cup. And then they got it.
Yeah.
And look at that for them as a club, that moment. They didn't care about anything else. Their fans have got that FA Cup trophy, which is, I know it's been sullied by some of the bigger teams rotating heavily, but it's the FA Cup.
Oh, it doesn't
It's
matter.
the FA Cup.
It
You
doesn't
know what I
matter.
mean? It's the biggest cup competition in England. Obviously
I
Premier
also
League's the
think
league.
you need to be careful about one thing with Emery. The closer you get to that final in Europa League, the more he's going to sacrifice games in the league with his rotation. And
Yeah.
I really hope your fans don't turn on him for that. But he's done that with all the clubs he was at, basically. I even did it with Arsenal and we basically lost to us in the final. And then that cost
Yeah.
him his job at the end, which was.
Yeah, it's what's interesting again. I brought that up when I'd done the West Ham preview with Gio because he asked a roughly similar question, but he said, "Do you think you can win it?" Now, obviously, I think we can win it, but I did caveat it with Emery at the moment at Villa, and he kind of changed tact a bit when we were getting to the semi-final, etc., of the Conference League. Is he always says in every press conference, my number one priority is the Premier League. number one Premier League, number one Premier League. And we didn't rotate as much as I thought we would. And it cost us in the Conference League. Ultimately, we got beat, I think it was 4-2 by Olympiacos. El Cabriar. That name still just haunts me because he was so good against us.
I was shocked. I remember that. I watched. I was shocked.
It was we got decimated effectively. And that's the only issue for me as well with being in this title race, top 4, top 5 race that we find ourselves in, is we don't have the biggest squad. Our squad depth isn't fantastic. And if we get a couple of wins in the FA Cup, it's going to be tough. We have Tottenham in the third round because, of course, we always get those hard draws in the third round for us. Are we going to be spread too thin? I don't know.
In an ideal world, and I know it sounds bad, you go out the FA Cup early just to save some space. And then the problem is, you know why he's saying, I want to finish as high as possible. I guarantee the remit with the constraints that they have in UEFA, you need to make sure we finish in the Champions League for the money.
We need to get Champions League. Yeah, at the end of last season, we missed out on Champions League. Last game of the season against United. And the first thing our sporting director came out in an interview and said, look, I'll be completely honest with you, we had 3 plans for the summer. One was Champions League, one was Europa League, one was Conference League. We're going to have to go with the Europa League one, effectively saying we've lost out on so much money. It's going to be a long summer.
I like that, though. That's transparency. And I think that's respectable. And it's exactly what I want from an ownership.
It showed because we actually made money this summer. We net profit of 25 million. We didn't have money to spend, but we knew.
But you didn't buy players, did you? Like till the very end, if I'm not mistaken. Or
we bought in Gassond sort of midway through. That's pretty much the only player we spent money on. We spent 30 million.
And Jaden, right? And Harvey Elliott.
Yeah,
but they don't play.
No, Harvey Elliott's probably going to be going back to Liverpool in January. I think there's been some reports recently that the clubs have shaken hands and said, look, he's going to play for us the rest of the season 4 games because we're not triggering the deal to buy him. And Sanchez is just sitting on the bench. He might come on against you, to be fair, but if he does, it'll be half an hour, 20 minutes in the Premier League.
I really liked Sanchez when he played for us. He really suited our system. He retained the ball well. He took his man on every now and then, and he had a good eye of a pass. Because
to be fair, I think he's done well for us when he does play, but he's the type of player that when he's just getting 10, 15 minutes once a week, once every couple of weeks, he can't get any rhythm going.
But he's not an Emery player. He can't run and press and be aggressive. And no. We had that problem with him at Chelsea. The difference is we have 65% of the ball most home games against weaker teams. So Sanch works. Whereas in the big games, he used to drive me crazy, like track your man. It's not hard.
No, there have been some talks that even his loan could recall it in January because they might have some offers from elsewhere to either make some money on him or to
not a chance. He's a free agent. He's a free agent in the summer. So there's no way he won't accept that.
He didn't in the summer.
He won't, because that's the reason he didn't accept 130k a week from us. Can you imagine? Chelsea offered him 130k 5-year deal, and he said, "Well, I'm on 300 here. Why am I gonna not take?" And it was like, it's fair, but you're gonna play for Chelsea, and Maresca loved him. So it was one of those things where you can prolong your career and maybe get yourself back on track. Or now Villa didn't work and he's in the wilderness of what's going to happen next. And he's not getting 300k anywhere. It's bad advice, in my opinion.
No, he is not getting 300k anywhere. And if he's a free agent, I think with the season he's having at Villa, the options will be limited.
It'll be West Ham. It'll be West Ham.
He might be Semedo's replacement at Bournemouth.
Maybe, but even they're very now. Clubs are going young, right?
Yeah,
everything has to be a prospect, and he's 25, 26, and the wages he's going to demand, I don't see him having. It might have to be Italy or something.
Yeah, to be fair, he'd probably do quite well over in that league.
Agreed.
The style of play. I mean, if Vardy's winning Player of the Month, I'm sure Sancho can do something over
there. But no, your prediction.
Yes.
Hit me.
Right. we'll go. I would like to do it first, but as the guest on the channel, I always throw it over to my guest because then it takes the pressure off of me. It's a little old slimy tactic I use here. What do you think is going to happen? Stamford Bridge, 27th of December, Villa Chelsea.
I think we win 2-0. I think,
Wow, fair.
yeah, and not because I think it's going to be one of those one-sided affairs. I think the pressure is on Chelsea now after a bad Barron spell, in the sense that what you said, 3 draws, 1 loss, 1 win. We've got 2 games, which essentially are Villa and Bournemouth until game week 19. And that, if we win those 2 games, it will be 1 point more than any other 19 batch we've achieved with Maresca. And it will be more clean sheets. We've kept 8 this year, 8 clean sheets. I think we're the second highest now because Arsenal kept 1 the other day. I just feel like it'll be one of those Palmer days where he gets back on track. And we're up for Villas. Like I'm so happy you're third because they're going to come out with a chip on their shoulder. If you were 16th, I would be saying Villa's going to beat us because our players play up to their opposition or down to their opposition. And there's a lot of respect for Villa there. So they'll literally spend the week prepping. And I think there's 2 goals in the game, 1-1 or 2-0, but I'm hoping it's 2-0.
There we go. It is going to be someone with egg on their face because I'm going 1-0 Villa. Morgan Rogers to somehow continue this run that he's on, probably with another goal that has an XG of about 0.01. That's been our luck at the moment. And you know what? Whilst I can still predict it and ride it, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. So on the 27th,
one of us is messaging the other.
One of us is messaging the other, and the other one's phone is going to be buried at the bottom of a sofa. All social media silenced. It's going to be. I think it's going to be tight, and I think it's going to really be one of those games that's going to be won. I think in the first half. I think it's going to be one of those games where a team's going to come out and assert that dominance in the first half, and it's going to be over. I think Villa are starting to show a lot of cracks. This run that we're on is fantastic. Chelsea again, the home form. I can't
Yeah,
say
it's going to be. So it's interesting that you said that because I think the other way. I think if we get to halftime 0-0, the more anxiety gets around the stadium, the more I see Watkins going through 1-on-1 and scoring. And it's going to drive my nut in because in my head, on this day out of any, he's going to need 1 chance to bury it, if that makes sense.
It's going to come eventually for him.
Yeah, honestly, though, and I'm not just saying that, I really like your manager. I really like your team. Like, I think you have amazing pieces there. The main thing is hopefully you keep them. So, like, Martinez in goal is amazing. I like Konsa. Your midfield, I've already, as the kids say, glazed. Rogers is very talented. I just think like you're 1 or 2 pieces away. Like if you had Asensio and Rashford this year.
Oh, the good times.
Yeah, like it would have been. Which is yeah, but no. So 2-0. I'm gonna say 2-0.
We've got a 2-0 and a 1-0. Someone's going to have egg on their face. I bloody hope it's you, to be honest with you. I'm going to leave you on that. I hope it's you. But thank you ever so much for coming. All your links are in the description, I said before we came into the video. But thank you ever so much for coming on. Like I say, I came across your content. I saw you, the way you talk about Chelsea, so level-headed and actual, not letting your emotions. You're quite objective with the way that you speak, and I absolutely love that. And it's been a pleasure. I mean, hey, we were meant to do 20 minutes. We've been going for an hour. I could sit.
Yeah, I think this might happen again in the future.
100%. Thank you ever so much. 2-0, 1-0. Oh, God, I hope you're wrong.
Bring it on.
And again, many thanks to Alexis for coming on. So what team would I put out to face that Maresca machine over at Stamford Bridge? Well, as you can see on the screen, it's unchanged from Manchester United. Now, why have I gone for this? Well, first of all, the obvious change, I think... Oh, Matsy. Who's Matsy? It's Maatsen. The obvious change within this squad is Pau Torres coming back into the starting lineup and Lindelof dropping back down to the subs bench. However, because of the Christmas period, I'll let you guys into a little bit of movie magic here. This has actually been filmed before Christmas, so I don't know the injury news coming out of Villa Park. But if Pau Torres is back fit, then of course he starts. But it seems like it's going to be one of those hamstringy type injuries that rumble on into the new year. Now, maybe he's just gone back home and Unai Emery, because Pau Torres is his son, said, Pau, just go back home, mate. Go back home, rest, relax, rejuvenate, and have a paella, and come back on the 27th at Stamford Bridge, firing and ready to go. And if that is the case, like I say, Lindelof instantly, and he's done nothing wrong, just want to put that out there, goes off of the starting 11, and Pau comes back in. Martinez keeps his spot in goal, obviously. Matty Cash keeps his spot at left back. I know I was harsh on him in the Manchester United review. I gave him a 4 or 5 out of 10. That's because he had a bad game, but, you know, hey, he's still been really impressing me this season. He has to keep his spot. I mean, who else are we put in there? Bagard or Garcia? It's going to be Matty Cash. Konsa, dare I say more? Ezri Konsa, if I had to. Still a little tactic from Don Unai. And then Ian Maatsen, or Maatsen, however you want to pronounce it. Comment down below, how do you pronounce his name? Because I hear Maatsen, I hear Maatsen, I hear Camara and Kamara as well. Someone clear that up for me, please. But he starts on the left, been really, really impressive. I actually thought he looked really, really good against Manchester United, one of our standout defenders in that game. Moving into the midfield, John McGinn keeps his spot. Super John McGinn. Evan Guasson now officially gone over with Ivory Coast, or Côte d'Ivoire, to AFCON. So John McGinn obviously has to start this game. Kamara and Onana stay as the double pivot. Chelsea are going to overload the midfield, right? They have Caicedo, Reece James, who's currently playing out of his skin. They have Marc Cucurella, who will come into the midfield to overload. That's what they do. They overload. Cole Palmer, we know he will drop deep to get the ball. Pedro Neto is an absolute workhorse up and down the wing. So we have to be really, really strong in midfield. It's going to be a physical battle in midfield, and Amadou Onana is the man that you want to do that. Kamara's had a really dodgy run of games. I'm backing him to fully redeem himself in this Chelsea game. Get a good feeling about Kamara in this game. Morgan Rogers starts on the left-hand side. Again, he's a bit like Konsa, isn't he? Morgan Rogers. That is all you have to say at the moment. If you watched yesterday's video, you'll know all about what Second Tier Pod had to say about him. Yuri Tielemans starts in that number 10 role. I think with Watkins up front, somewhat stumps Tielemans' creativity because he doesn't have someone running onto the ball. And, you know, that's the other change you could make, would be Donyell Marlon starting over Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins playing on 120 ping at the moment. He really hasn't been at his best, but I think he'll probably get the nod over Marlon. Tielemans in the 10. Bundia coming off the bench probably a little bit later in the game. Sancho will be back on the bench for this game. It's going to be a really, really tough one. I said it against. I'm not against him, you know. I said it when I was talking to Alexis. I think Villa are going to edge this game. I really, really do, taking everything into account, even though we haven't been playing well recently and everyone feels like this run's going to have to come to an end soon. The run seems destined to come to an end against Arsenal, let's be fair. But for this game, I'm going to go a 1-0 victory. I think it's going to be a really, really close game against Chelsea, and I am going to go Morgan Rogers to get the goal. And that's the team I think I would send out to do it. And there you have it. Happy Boxing Day. Merry Christmas. And if anyone hasn't, I urge you again to go and check out that video yesterday and give to the Just Giving page if you can. Sport in Mind, a fantastic charity. Help people out with sport over this Christmas period. And yeah, it's a huge game. Stamford Bridge. You heard what me and Alexis had to say. It's a good time to play Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. It's a good time to be a Villa fan. Let's keep those good times rolling. We need all the momentum we can get going into that huge game at the Emirates in a few days. And I'm backing Morgan Rogers to do a bit of Rogers magic again. What do you think? Comment down below. And I'll see you guys soon. Up the Villa.